speaking about expanded tool belt, what I also found out in the last episode, I've got two hands. Alright everybody, hello and welcome back to what is now kind of the second attempt to this episode on Satisfactory with me, Spacefish. Now, I kind of already recorded this one, but I kind of didn't. So, first time ever in my whole time on YouTube, I actually managed to record without hitting the record button. And I'm kind of annoyed about it. I'm, yeah, kind of really sad, obviously, because I already put a lot of work into this episode. I built a lot of cool stuff with you all, and I kind of just forgot about. Well, I didn't forget about it, but you know, you guys never saw it, so that is a bit of an issue. Now, if you all remember, there is actually a lot of stuff still to take care of for us out here. So let's maybe look back at the factory first, and then, you know, I'll just kind of try and re-grasp the whole situation, and then, you know, we will do our best to actually, well, set everything up the way that it used to be in the prior episode. So, if you'll remember, we did this huge, you know, conveyor splitter thing to actually, you know, split and merge until we actually get the necessary amount of iron, well, reinforced iron plates out to where they need to be in the last episode. Now, I do think that we did get all the overclocking done back then that we needed to get done, but let me double check on that. It is looking kind of good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're good on that side of things, so that's actually pretty nice. Now, I do obviously still have this connection running all the way to up there that we need for, I think it was the smart plating, which I'll actually have to look back at how much smart plating I will end up needing here, because I'm really not too sure overall, you know, for how many elevator upgrade thingies, you know, levels, tiers I will need those. So definitely something worth looking back at and reassessing, because I don't think I did that when I recorded this the first time, so I guess that's, you know, a little bit of an added benefit. We can go and reflect on that, but other than that, you know, other thing is going up right there, and we will now be using that to make some of these frame thingies. So if we have a quick look out here, you know, got those modular frames that I want to be making with you all, and we need those reinforced iron plates, and we do need iron rods as well. So that is the overall plan for the progression on this factory. Now, that's kind of not everything that we're going to do though in this episode, because I did discover in my first attempt at recording this that we do actually have some interesting things out there in the man that we can go ahead and research, and thus I would actually like to obviously do that again with you all, because, you know, who doesn't like some fancy new toys? So that's going to be the first thing that I am going to be doing with you all this episode. We're going to get ourselves right out here, and I think I started out with this thing right here, which is the expanded tool belt. Now, we're of course going to do that again. We've got all the stuff that we need for it, so that's going to be great. And speaking about expanded tool belt, what I also found out in the last episode, I've got two hands. And it's not like I can use both of these tools in my hands, but I can scroll through them. And I never knew. I was so annoyed to find out I can actually do this. I don't know if this was actually part of Satisfactory when I started out before all the big upgrades or updates rather, or if it got changed somewhere along the way. I'm kind of hoping that it is the latter. But like, holy moly, this is so useful, this is so great. I can have multiple tools, and I don't need to go to the inventory each time to get my Xeno Zapper out when I find a fluffy tail log. So, yeah, good times. And this is going to give us a third hand, and I'm either going to put the chainsaw in it, or I'm just going to keep it empty for, like, you know, my usual Satisfactory screenshots, which I do like to post on my Instagram. So, you know, if you're not following me on Instagram yet, what the heck are you doing? go check it out down below. But well, with that said, also check back at the shop, I think, and I really want this thing so bad. I will need some of these coupons for it though, and for that I will need this awesome sink, which I have actually not built yet in the last episode, but I do really want to do that. And as you can see down here, we need a few reinforced iron plates for that purpose, but it's honestly not too much, so I think that does make sense to get that going. Also, I've also got this nice rebar gun out here in the spiked rebar, so you know, a gun and ammo for it, which would be pretty sick, and I would really like to get that. And I do think that we do overall have the resources necessary for that, so another kind of thing for me, you know, on the list of maybe potentially to-dos this episode. Maybe want to research that. Also, I'm kind of low on cables, and as we all know, we need a lot of cables in Satisfactory for all the electric shenanigans ongoing, so I'm going to craft a few of those manually, but as always, of course, I'm, you know, not going to torment you with, you know, watching the crafting screen for the next 2 bajillion years, so as always, quick cut right here, and I'll be right back after. Alright everybody, and I'm back. As you can see, I just quickly made myself 3 stacks of cable, so we are covered a bit on that side of things for a while now. And another thing that I actually just saw in my inventory is that I have a bunch of random stuff in it still, like for example leaves, and like for example words. I'm getting that out there real quick, so you know, that can be made into fuel, which, you know, I'm sure I'll find use for that someday, and you know, that way I do at least have a few more spaces in my inventory. And then obviously, you know, with that other research that I do intend to get going in the MAM eventually, we can hopefully proceed even a bit more on my inventory space in a bit, because, you know, if you check right out here, this will give me 5 inventory slots, and that's kind of the dream right now, so I would like to get that going. As you can see, 40 seconds on that. So what I'm going to be doing in the meantime, so I'm actually going to be getting myself some metal plates, because I've got next to none in the inventory. Other than that, I do have a bit of concrete still, which should be fine. I'm going to get my reinforced iron plates out there, and you know, any rotors rather, that I may need, I will end up getting out there too. So with that said, quick cut until this is done, and I'll be right back. Alright, and back I am, and this thing is done. There we go. Good stuff. Expanded tool belt right there for me. I do actually need a few more of these copper wires, rather, not copper cables, so I can proceed on some more research. But now, as you can see, or not. Okay, so I cannot actually scroll over to an empty hand, which is interesting. Haven't tried that in my first attempt at this episode, so I guess I can always... Oh. Well, I guess I can always do something like this, right? Yeah, so this still gives me an empty hand, but I cannot actually scroll over to an empty hand. But that said, now we finally got all the stuff that we may need. That said, I would kind of like to change the sorting on this. Yeah, so this is a bit better, I feel. So first, second, third. Okay, cool. So that's all sorted. This thing, now let's go and analyze away at this. Well, not analyze, but research rather. Sorry, I'm still a bit in the good company mode. And there it goes, another 5 minutes. So we'll come back whenever that's done. And then we'll have some nice, fancy, shiny new inventory space as well. Let's just take a second to appreciate that again. I'm just always going to get rid of my tool for that sick Instagram screenshot. I don't know, it's just a beautiful game, this, isn't it? There's always some awesome, beautiful screenshots that you can make. Look at that. Him just flying away right above as well. It's perfect. It's awesome. I love it. Let's get the tool back in the hand, though. Let's concentrate on the actual game again. I mean, it is the actual game, but you guys pretty sure know what I'm saying. And let me get myself over to the factory, and then we will get some things sorted out. So what I will also need out here, I'm not sure, I do have the inventory space, is I will actually need a new miner for the setup. I did actually check this out in the last attempt of this episode already, and I did need one now. What I do not actually have over here just yet, and what I will definitely need over here, is going to be a equipment workshop. There we go. So let's build that just right out here, I suppose. Just like that. And then we will go and build ourselves one portable miner, because we will actually need a new miner for the iron vein down here to be able to supply enough. I mean, we could always go and overclock, you know, but I'd rather spend those slugs whenever I actually end up getting them on something else. And, you know, on top of that, we will eventually get like Mark II miners and Mark III miners that will mine faster as well, so I don't really see much of any need to overclock anything here just yet. That said, that is kind of that then. I will be making a nice little place for a new miner Mark I out here, and I think we'll be putting that right there. And then I'll kind of need to find out how I built this with elevators and everything, because we will obviously need a good bunch of stuff up there, and I think it was overall quite the tight fit. So let's see how this is going to work out. So for the time being, I'm going to get myself up there. And that was actually the wrong choice, because I will need reinforced iron plates. So, you know, let's just take some full damage and grab ourselves all those reinforced iron plates, because as you all may remember, I wanted some of those for my research too. Then back up we go, and we will probably also get some rotors, and then I'll look into making some new stuff. So how do I split again? Like this. Okay, so no more splitting please. I think that should be a sufficient stack for the time being for the purpose that I'm going for. I think I could have also probably picked up these things up here, because this is going out a bit too far. So the overall idea being here, we will obviously need a new smelter out here, which I think I kind of placed the smelter at the edge here, because yeah, I can actually place it out there. I'm not quite sure yet how I did it with elevator and things. You know, we can maybe, for one, leave a bit more space than usual out here. So, you know, we've got like a tiny bit of space where we can connect the actual elevator to the thing. And, I mean, honestly, given that we can't really put a constructor right here next to this assembler, I will maybe actually just place the thing a whole tile further back, because it's not going to make much of a difference for us. And that way, well, it's always kind of annoying how these cannot be perfectly aligned, but that way, you know, that at least gives me some space to work with out here. You know, should I desire to split some of the iron ore to somewhere else or something, I can now do that. Okay, so that's going to be our smelter. Then we will, of course, need a constructor, which I will be placing right out here. Just like this. Perfect. And that one will obviously be making iron rods, because that's the only other thing that we will need for these grid thingies. Then we will, of course, need some conveyor belts, and I will need an actual assembler. Now, with the actual assembler, yeah, that's a good question, because the thing is, I'll need an assembler which is like too long, and then I'll need like some sort of container which I'll have to place somewhat back here. And then, yeah, so I kind of ran into this constraint last time already, right, where I was putting the container here, I had the end of my assembler right here, and then, you know, the space in between the two wasn't really quite enough to, you know, split the whole thing and then have half of it flow into somewhere else and half of it flow into here without having to then go and have an elevator on this side of the building instead of that one. So I didn't quite like that too much, I'll have to say, and I felt it was overall kind of a bit crammed. Now, question being, could I potentially, I mean I could, right? I could start the assembler one tile earlier by moving the constructor one back, I think. So I do want to go for that and see just if that works out, and I hope it does. So the constructor will be going back here this time instead then. I'll be connecting these up. And then we will, of course, need an assembler, which we will put that thing out here one tile earlier. Now, these things are not actually exactly 2 tiles long, so it doesn't really matter that I'm not perfectly able to plunk it in here, because as you can see, finishes off right here with the corner, so that is totally fine. Now, I'm going to have my output out here, of course, so that output is going to be going right here, and we're going to be turning it around, and that was a mishap. Let's fix that. So the way that this needs to be is it needs to go out to here. Then we can have it go out to there. And feed into there. Okay, so that's going to be our iron rods. And then we will have this thing, which I'm so annoyed about this not being perfectly aligned. You can't even imagine, but nothing I can do about that anymore, unfortunately. And well, I mean, I could, but you know, I would have to tear it all down again. And I feel kind of lazy right now, so let's not quite do that just yet. But this will flow into there, that will flow into there. And then this will be making our modular frames, which we can actually use for a few things as well. So good news right there. I did make sure to check that last episode ahead of actually making this huge thing. So then we'll have this conveyor out here. And I want to grab a container, which is apparently not in here, but in here. And it will be going right out there, just like that. So this is going to be the storage container. Now that is not actually going to be going right there. Totally lied to you all. But it's actually going to be placed right here, because the idea being that this way I can actually have a conveyor right here that goes out here, and then I can have an elevator that goes up. Or, you know, what's also always an option, I think, and I'm not sure I even have this just yet, but I do. There's like these conveyor walls, so I could, you know, be making conveyor walls on like the second floor and just put them into there, and then, you know, have them go around somehow. Like, there is a lot of options for routing out here, but that was, you know, overall the idea. Now with the added space, this should not be too hard to accomplish, because what I was doing out here now is I just took a conveyor splitter, as I always do, you know, and put it right here, and then I obviously split that, because, you know, I only want to ever have like maximum half of it go into the actual final, well, storage for me to personally take it away, and then we'll have like a separate conveyor go out here, which is then going to be feeding into whatever else we will need this for. And you know, we can actually have this going straight here, because I think this does look a lot better than just having it go like on a weird angle or something. So that's cool. That does actually kind of mean that I can actually fix this conveyor, not conveyor, but the actual storage container placement of mine here a bit, I think. So let's go and do that too. Have everything nice and straight, and that looks even better than I did it last time. So I am very happy with that. I hope you all are too. Now we'll obviously need to connect this thing up right here. That's going to be good. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to need a elevator up front too, but for the time being, let me get some power poles up right here. I'll put the first power line over here. That'll feed these two thingies, and another power pole which will be going right here, and that'll feed the constructor. Okay, so everything's connected up for power then. Everything should have the right recipe in it too. Now what we need is an actual conveyor lift to get this ore up there, and that's something that I think I solved last episode with just having it. The alignment is always hard on this stuff, but I think I just placed this thing right here pretty much. There was an alignment line somewhere, and I think I used that, and then just turned it out like that. Now the question always is, what height do I need? It always feels like it's this one, but then it isn't, so, you know, then I gotta do everything all over again. And then let's try this a bit better this time. So alignment line right there, and this is the height that I will need, I think. Does look about right, and we will be getting a conveyor belt fed into that. I also obviously need a power pole right here. Oh yeah, no, that's a different power pole. I was getting confused by that, but I will need a new pole, and I will get a new connection going out there, and then just like that, we should have that miner going, hopefully, and that should, you know, feed the first bits of iron ore. Let's just watch it spin up as always and get the first bits of iron ore out there for us. And here it comes. Okay, good stuff. Now what I still very much need is a staircase to get myself up there. It's super annoying. The only two ways I have at the moment are this little building purpose lookout tower that I have, or this conveyor belt. I will actually need some actual jump pads and, you know, like some other alternatives, like some stairs and everything to get myself up there properly. But here comes the iron ore then. all the way up here, and you can actually see it being lifted up, which I think is pretty cool too. Goes into this thing that will smelt it for us. That'll output some iron bars for us, and well, let's just watch the whole production spool up and hopefully, you know, work out for us. Now we're obviously, you know, kind of fit this thing like mad with reinforced iron plates, but we're still gonna need a bunch more. So, well, that's hopefully eventually gonna fill up, and maybe eventually, if we're lucky, we get like a little bit of backlog on these things, and that'll mean that our whole container down there fills up a bit quicker too, which I think would be absolutely awesome. But I forgot a recipe. See, that's a good thing that I am actually watching what I'm doing, so that way we are now actually getting some of those iron rods out there, and let's actually check out the frequency. So we've got 3 a minute here, which I don't think is much of an issue, and 12 on the iron rods. We're making 15 a minute on the iron rods, so that should be more than enough. No overclocks, no nothing needed, and well, then, you know, once these are actually fed in, this should start producing, which I'm actually going to be waiting for as well, and then, you know, everything else should be totally fine. That said, maybe we're not actually gonna wait. I think we're gonna come back in a second and actually check back on things. Before the time being, our research should be done, so, you know, let's check it out. Let's get something new right back in the queue, and then can come back. Get stuck under the actual pipe, but then we can come back and actually check out if everything is working as intended. And while we're up here, I think I'm also going to check out if we need more of those smart platings, or if we don't, or, you know, at least for this, right? I'm not sure if we need them in any production or something. So, you know, even if we don't need them right here, it maybe makes sense to keep them producing, but definitely want to check it out there. So, more inventory space. Great news. I was really running low on that, so that's awesome. And then I will be getting myself right back in here, because I want to get some of these weapons out there, and I can't because I don't have enough rotors. Okay. We'll get those in a second. For the time being, let's check back at this thing. What do we need for the next tier on you? We do still need smart platings. Okay, so we're going to keep producing one way or another. There's also a lot of other different stuff that seems very complicated, so it's going to be a while before then, but that's totally fine, because if we look back here at the hub, there is still a lot of things for us to research, and maybe that's something for me to actually consider doing here soon as well. Jump pads being one of them, you know, getting around the place a bit quicker. We've got vehicular transport, which I would really like to get going now, because especially we already have a few of these things in here, and we were only missing these modular frames, which I'm now going to be making, so that's going to be great, and that's going to get me round, and that's going to give me something to use my biofuel on again. So kind of like the idea, would really like to have it. And then we've obviously got basic steel construction, which is also going to be a big one for us, and it's going to be very helpful and very necessary. So yeah, good list of things, and that I will definitely want to work towards, and will hopefully be working towards with all this new stuff now being made. Now, that is going to take a bit of time to actually get all these frames out there, but it shouldn't be too bad. Like, I think it's 1 frame a minute, and we need like 25 for an upgrade, so pretty much one of these hub upgrades every episode, which doesn't sound too bad to me. I don't know about you all, but I think that is decent progression speed. And, you know, in the meantime, we'll be able to do, you know, more exploration, you know, get some more of those slugs in, hopefully. Oh, here we go. Okay, as you can see, it does work. It's going to backlog a bit here, and then it's just going to totally fill up that thing instead, so that's going to be great. And, you know, maybe we'll use this eventually for some other production. If not, you know, if nothing ever comes up, I'm just going to tear this down before the time being. That is going to be the setup right there. That said, I wanted a gun, and I really badly want a gun. So, yeah, wrong place to look for rotors. It was actually up there, so let's get myself back up there. And then we'll grab a few more rotors, and we'll get that thing into research, because, you know, I finally need a gun. What do I say? I finally need a gun. That is super important, especially given, like, all the... Oh, no. I was going for that little nice bit of electric fizz right there, but that obviously doesn't happen in this game. But yes, so with that miner being super loud, I think I really need one of those, because if you'll remember, like, these encounters with these humongous hogs that I was not even really damaging, apparently, you know, they weren't even dying or something, and they were just knocking me out super hard. I definitely need some more stuff to defend myself properly, I feel, in this game. That's hopefully gonna help me at it. Oh, I'm missing screws. Okay, I'll make screws. I'll be right back. Alright, back I am. Screws are nearly done. It's been a whole lot. Absolutely mad, but here we go then. Actually done with the screws. I'm going to get the gun into research real quick as well, and then hopefully, you know, by the middle of next episode, we'll finally have proceeded towards these spiked rebars, and we'll actually hopefully be able to use them. That said, I obviously need to craft it too, but that will be good. Also, I wanted to look real quick into this, because I do now actually have all the mats needed for this, so I think it does make sense to actually get this awesome sink up and running, and hopefully, oh, we actually need power for that. That's interesting, but we will get some power for that. We've got like 15 bajillion leftovers from the biomass generators, and there we go. And now we've got 1,000 points until next coupon, and we just probably need to feed stuff into it, which, you know, maybe we can just split this and feed some iron plates in or something like that. I think that will make a lot of sense. So that's something we will take care of in the next episode. For today though, this has been it. We finally, you know, read on all the stuff I was doing in the last episode and a bit more, so I do hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button down below. That does always very much help out the channel. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button right down below just yet, definitely make sure to do that to stay up to date on all the future upcoming episodes. And definitely don't forget the bell icon as well. That said, as always, thanks a lot for watching to everyone, and I hope I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.